Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Super League and then the collapse of the Super League and then what these people are probably going to do next, because they're rich businessmen. They're going to have a plan B. Plan A fails, you go to plan B. On Sunday it was announced that some of the top teams in Europe were going to break away, have their own league, play each other every week and basically just ruin football as we know it. If you haven't lived under a rock, you'll know that. All the fans were like, no, we don't want that, stop that. Not good, we don't want that. And then it kind of ended. Everyone kind of left. A few hundred Chelsea fans decided to not let the bus into the game yesterday, which was top notch, to be fair. That was class. Utter class. The amount of fans that turned up there, unbelievable. The people at the top, your Stan Kroenke, your Glazers, they're not poor, they're businessmen. Billionaire businessmen. And they will have come up with this idea, and it probably wasn't executed the way they wanted it to. So now, what they're probably going to do is they're going to let it all settle down. 5 years down the line, they'll come up with a whole new Super League, which will be along the lines of involving the Women's League, or having like a separate Women's Super League, and diversity, they'll probably use that word, and they might put in like a second division, third division, but it'll be the same thing. They'll control it. And we cannot let that happen, because the second that we let that happen, it's no longer football. It'll be exactly the same as American football. In all the announcements that Perez came out with, and the Glazers came out with, and all this, it says soccer. Why are they calling it soccer? It's football. We don't deal with soccer. Can we just stop that? So what we need to do is we either need to make them sell the clubs, force them to do it, or do what they do in Germany, the 50+1 rule. Fan owned. So you're 51% owned by the fans. And whenever the club is sold, so let's take Chelsea, owned by Roman Abramovich. Let's say he sold the club. 51% of that club has to be sold to the fans, and then the fans just buy 51% of it and decide what happens to the club. With teams like Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, they run themselves pretty much. So if they were owned by fans, they wouldn't need the billions behind it. If you wanted to build a new stadium, that would require the funds of a billionaire. But the actual operating of a football club, unless you're going outside of your means, can be done by the fans. Portsmouth have proven that. It's entirely down to the fans. How the fans want the club to be run is how the fans get the club to be run. Because we can't have this happen like every 5 years. In about 3 years there'll be rumblings of it again. Like there have been for years, decades even. I remember talking about this when I was at school, so 10 years ago. And this all came about when the First Division became the Premier League. When they kind of took off from the Championship. Made it super rich. But we're okay with that. We need to have conversations with Premier League, UEFA, FIFA and go like, this ain't it anymore. We need to kind of stop with all this bollocks. And then UEFA came out with a new format, which is the Super League in disguise. If I'm not wrong, in 2024, if West Ham came 5th and Man United came 6th, Man United, on the merit, would get in to the Champions League. West Ham would be in the Europa League. So it's not, you don't get into the top competition by just being a club. You have to earn the right to be there. If Chelsea play badly for a whole of a year, they get relegated. If they play better than anyone else, they win the league. That's how football should work. We shouldn't just be in a competition because our name is Chelsea. Like that's actually mental to comprehend. And not only that, but the money that the Big Six bring in is a lot. It's an awful lot of money. People watch Chelsea versus, no disrespect, but West Brom and Sheffield United because of the big clubs, unless you support the West Brom or Sheffield United. If those clubs went, the money in the Premier League would go down. Then what happens to the Championship? Their money goes down. The Premier League is no longer a place that you want to be. If Reading, if they get promoted currently, they get a fat paycheck and they're like, okay, now we can expand our transfer budget, we can get better players. Yes, we want to get into the Premier League. If the Big Six leave, what's the point? You're pretty much the Championship now. It's all a bit rubbish really, but hopefully this is the last we hear of it. We need to campaign and stop the Stan Kroenkes, the Glazers, FSG and all that. To not do this again, there needs to be some kind of punishment. I would fine them a lot of money. awful lot of money, not like 50 grand. I'd find them a good 20 million and put it into, and then you've got 120 million. You cipher that down into the Championship, League 1, League 2, National League, grassroots football. You do all of that, and happy days. Happy days. Anyway, if you want me to talk more on football, tell me, and I'll do it, because I like football. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I've got some stuff coming, so stick around. Bye!